Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Tulsi Maharani 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 Jaya Vrunda Devi Jaya Vrunda Devi Vrunda Devi Jaya Vrunda Devi Jaya Vrunda Devi Jaya Vrunda Devi Vrunda Devi Jaya Vrunda Devi तुलसी महारानी की जय वृंदा देवी की जय है कृष्ण भक्ति देवी सत्यवती नमो I know they're offering it, so you can put it on inside the table. In a back. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagate Sadma Bando Mori Savada Mate Evavatariyata. Krishna prapti hoy jate. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kariya. Shri Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kariya. Aranaka Mane Asa. And Alden Baswell. Shri Guru Charana Ratya Aise Uttama Gatya. Shri Guru Charana Ratya Ase Uttama Gatya. De Prasade Pure Sarva Asa. Sudan de loche, janme janme Prabhu se. Divya Gyan Radhaya Prasita. Krama Bhakti Jayate, Avidavi Nata Jate. Vedega Jahara Charita. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandho. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandho. Loke Nath Loke Rajivana. Mahaprabhu Karodaya Deho More Padachaya. Evegai Duksute Bhavana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Dui Pade Loila Sarana. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschata Desatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Shyama Sundar Radha, Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Radha, Shyama Sundar Radha, Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinatha, Radha Gopinatha Radhe. Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari, Radha Kunja Bihari Radhe. Jaya Radha Murli Manohar, Radha Murli Manohar Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda Radhe. Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya, Jagannatha Jaya, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Shyama Sundar Radha, Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Sri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai.
कि बजायो जय गौरा चंदे आरती कशोभा, बजायो जय गौरा चंदे आरती कशोभा। जानवी तटवने जगमनलोभा, जानवी तटवने इबदखिने निताय चाँद बामे गदाधर, निकटे अद्वैत श्रीनि वास छत्रधार, बसियाचे गौरा चाँद रत्न सिंहासने, आरती करे ना कोरी चामर धुलाय नर हरियादि कोरी संजय मुकुंद बासु घोषादि गाय संजय मुकुंद बासु कीप शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुर मृदंग बाजे परामरसाल मधुर मृदंग बाजे परामरसाल इव बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी वदन उज्ज्वला बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी वदन उज्ज्वला गाला देशे वनमाला कोरे झलमाला हला देशे वनमाला कोरे झलमाला शिवा शुकनारद प्रेमे गदगदा शिवा शुकनारदा प्रेमे गदगदा भक्ति विनोद देखे गौरार संपदा भक्ति विनोद देखे गौरार संपदा बजयो जय गौरा चंदे आरत्रिक शोभा जानवी तटवने जगमनलोभा जानवी तटवने जगमनलोभा जानवी तटवने जगमनलोभा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Jai Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
Oh, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottara Shata Sri Srimad Bhai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Sanstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitya Lila Pravishta Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Sachit Ananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu Ki Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Shri Narottam Das Thakur Ki Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrinda Devi Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Mathura Dham Ki Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Shri Dwarka Puri Dham Ki Shri Ayodhya Paridham ki, Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Mandir ki, Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki, Shri 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 Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Sudarshan Chakra ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki, Harinam Sankirtan ki, Sandhya Arati ki, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki, Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki, Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Hare Krishna.
Good. Oh.
Namaste Narasimhaya Praladaladatayine Hiranyakashipurvyakshahar Shilatankarnakalaye Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho Yato Yato Yamitato Narsimho Barhe Narsimho Irae Narsimho Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapadev Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakam Arbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanuvrinda Keshavadita Narahari Rupar Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narasimha
Unfortunately.
And Prabhuji, this should be facing you, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
turn it around.
And are they putting in charging?
No, no, no.
Okay.
No, this battery is really good. I don't charge it. Program. Okay. No, you turn it around. Right, turn it around. Correct. Make all the adjustments. This also, I think we put on the other side. Won't be. Right? This thing. Yeah, that needs to be adjusted. No, open it. Okay, good. No, no. Turn the camera. No, no, no. You put it. Turn the tripod around. Right. Yeah. Thank you. The other way. You have cartels there? Yeah, sure.
Hare Krishna. So we're extremely fortunate that we have association, divine association of His Grace Vasu Ghosh Prabhuji. Vasu Ghosh Prabhuji is, he has joined ISKCON more than 50 years ago. Many of us were not even here on this planet Earth. And out of those years, he almost spent 40 years in India. He's more Gujarati than many of you are Gujaratis. He learned beautiful, beautiful Sanskrit. He's scholar on Sanskrit actually, Gujarati, Hindi, and he's been preaching all over India, especially in the Gujarat area, traveling all over the world. So we have very special blessings that he's visiting us and sharing with us Krishna consciousness. So let's welcome with our loving Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. We welcome Vasu Ghosh Prabhuji amongst us and we request him whenever he's in New Jersey, please bless us again and again and again. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya. Just having a bit how to this is a bit, no, this thing is too short. You can make it longer. Yeah. Thank you. Because it's slipping off. The way to do it. I don't think you can. No, it can be a little longer. Okay, good. Good. Still a little tight. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi could play this big one. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi. No, that. Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi. Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Ashtotara Shata Sri Srimad Bhai Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Mandir ki Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki Samaveta Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna. So is it Gita or any just general? What? Acha, Gita. So just Mangalacharan I can do. Tachanyoravrimahe gatum yajnaya gatum yajnapataye daivi swastirastunaha swastirmanushebhyaha urdhvam jigatu beshajam shanno astu dvipade sham chatushpade om shanti 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 Harihi Om Sham no Mitra Sham Varunaha Sham no Bhavat Varyama Sham no Indro Brihaspatihi Sham no Vishnu Rukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam vadishyami Tanma avatu, tan bhaktaram avatu, avatu mam, avatu bhaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Mahabadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhobhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yavpatet Prayatav Puman Vishnor Padamavapnoti Bhayashokadi Varjitaha. Gita Dhyayana Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Santihi Papani Purva Janma Kritani Cha Malanir Mochanam Pumsam Jalasnanam Dine Dine Sakrid Gitam Basisnanam Samsara Malanashanam. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanyai Shastra Vistaraihi Yaswayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmad Vinisrita Bharatamrita Sarvasvam Vishnor Bhaktrad Vinisritam. Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate. Sarvo Panishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partha Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. What is it then? Eko Mantras Tasya Namani Yani Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. Hare Krishna. Yadi rochate Samskrita Bhashayam Pravachanam Datum Shaknomi Kintu Bharatiyaha api Samskrita Shravana Abhyasaha Prayaha na kurvanti. Karaniyam na abhyasaha nasti shravanasya. Ye na jananti samskrita bhashyate asamskritaha. Vayam asamskritaha. Samskrita bhashya na janimaha. Tadartham vayam samskrita hinaha. Samskritam iti samskriti. Samskriti kim Vaidikiya samskriti. Oh, Shamadvam. Samskritena pravachanam naiva datavyam. Yata bodaha na bhavishyati. Prayatna karomi. Yada yada avasaraha labhyate tada tada samskrita bhashayam vyavaharaha karomi kintu Bhavatam abhyasaha nasti shravanasya. हिंदी यहाँ चलते हैं कि नहीं? संस्कृत लोग समझ नहीं सकते. हिंदी में बात करो कि अंग्रेजी में? संस्कृत मत कृते कष्टम नास्ति एव. कष्टम नास्ति किंतु भवताम कष्टम तदर्थम मया चिंतितम हिंदी भाषायाम अथवा आंग्ल भाषायाम प्रवचनम दातव्यम. Sanskrit ne ekasya bodha bhavishyati ekah va pancho va dasho va kintu sarvesham bodha na bhavati. You may not understand. So Prabhu, what adesha mam dadatu adesha. Hindi, English, khichdi bhasha. English. आजकल हिंदी भी आधा अंग्रेजी हो गया। हाँ, और कोई लोग जो बैठा है पीछे उनको अंग्रेजी भी नहीं समझता होगा। Some say we are not Vedic. कोई कहते हैं हम वैदिक नहीं है, कोई कहते हैं हम वैदिक नहीं है। आश्चर्य की बात है। It's surprising because those who read what Prabhupada has written in his purports, he says that we're following Vedic culture. He wanted to spread Vedic culture. And, you know, in the 1970s, I joined ISKCON, with your permission. Thank you for your mridanga. That's thanks for using the mridanga. So I joined ISKCON over here in February 1973. So that'll be 49 years in a few months, right? Completed 49. I was 17 years old. Everyone wore a dhoti, everyone put on a tilak. I mean, we were trained, right? You know, when I joined the temple, in the toilet, there was toilet paper. And when it ran out, I went to the temple commander. I said, there's no more toilet paper. And then he said, there's a Vedic way to do everything. 49 years later, somebody is saying, we're not Vedic. I'm going to write a letter and maybe I'll put it on my Facebook page. I don't know. A God brother said, we're not Vedic, we're not Indian. Yeah, I'm not born in India. I'm an Indian citizen trying to become again an American citizen because India has OCI, right? So when in 1983, I became an Indian citizen, there was no OCI, right? Anyway, Prabhupada wanted to spread Vedic culture. There's no doubt in my mind. There's a doubt in some of our God brothers' mind. Why is that? Well, maybe they weren't born in Hindu families. I know what it's like to not be born in a Hindu family. Oh, I didn't tell you, I went to India in 1974, 1 year after I joined in ISKCON Chicago, which at the time the temple was in Evanston. And after 1 year, I went to India and I was in Hyderabad for 5 years. I learned to speak Hindi in Hyderabad. And, you know, we were a small institution struggling. ISKCON had 7, 8 temples in India. Today, there are 400 temples. 7, 8 temples we had, and skeleton crew. We had no books in the local languages. You know, in Bhadra Purnima, ISKCON Ahmedabad distributed 1,000 sets of Gujarati Srimad Bhagavatam. 1,000 sets. In those days, 1970s, we didn't have these books. And the books, Prabhupada again and again says Vedic culture. And, you know, 1975, Prabhupada came to Hyderabad. 10,000 people came to hear him speak, 5 days. 74, there was a public program, 5,000 people came every day. And 75, 10,000 people every day. And in 10,000 people were listening, Prabhupada said, please don't give up your culture. What does it mean? Please don't give up your culture. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 19, text 21, Devaha Uchuhu, the Devatas, demigods, said, Bahuvachanam, Uchuhu, Bahuvachanam, plural. Aho Amisham Kimakari Shobhanam. I didn't remember the rest of the verse. But those, we just see how fortunate, the translation, the people who were born in Bharata. Devatas want to be born in Bharata. To be born in Bharata is glorious according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Devatas are glorifying those who were born in Bharata. And God brothers are saying, we're not Indians. Yeah, you're not. You don't realize, you haven't, after 50 years, read the Bhagavatam. Prabhupada translated it into English so you could read it. And it's glorifying those who are born in Bharata. And Prabhupada, he spent all his money building Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Juhu, Bombay. Yeah, not here, there. I didn't. Had nothing to do with me. I'm just telling you the fact of history. The fact of history. Prabhupada's guru told him, if you get some money, print books. You know that, right? Most of you heard that. But Prabhupada, when he got money, he sent it to build the Juhu temple. He built the Vrindavan Krishna Balaram Mandir. He purchased the land in Mayapur, some land. Later on, most of the land was purchased. Today, there's 700 acres of land. And the chief minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, moved a resolution in the West Bengal Assembly to give an exemption from the land sealing laws to the Mayapur Tourism Corporation. 750 acres. Communist government wanted to take it away. Yeah. 33 years West Bengal was under the communists. And Mamata, she comes every year in Calcutta Rath Yatra and catches the ropes of the Jagannath Rath Yatra. And gave 750 acres exemption and tax stamp duty for transferring from the 40 trusts that had 23 acres, according to the land sealing laws. When you transfer that into another name, Mayapur Tourism Corporation, you have to pay the stamp duty. The stamp duties for 40 trusts for 700 acres was about 30 to 50 crores of rupees. So to put that into dollars, it's about, what is it? One crore, how many crores is $1 million? 7 crores. So it's about 7 times 7, $7 million, say, around roughly, was exempted from stamp duty plus exemption from land sealing. So Prabhupada told Ambarish Prabhu is an American. He told him to build the temple in Mayapur, and he's doing it, right? He gave $30 million from his pocket. Unparalleled, right? In the history of our, well, I guess in Houston, we were just talking. Some doctor gave $25 million. But otherwise, Ambarish Prabhu gave $30 million to build a temple, and the temple is getting ready. The Pujari quarters we saw, it's a 1.75 years back, February of last year. We toured, they opened the Pujari quarters. If you see it, your mouth will drop open. Fantastic what they made. I mean, the estimate of expenditure to take care of the deities in Mayapur per month. Take a guess. Anybody want to guess? I like interactive. Anybody want to guess how much they're, after the temple is open and the deity worship, the monthly expenditure, take a guess. 10 lakhs. Thank you for guessing. Any other guess? That's not correct. How about 50 lakh, 1 crore? Thank you for guessing. What I heard was 3 crores. So that's like $450,000 a month. A month. So you can imagine what a grand temple Prabhupada desired in India, in Mayapur. And somehow it's happening. 44 years will be completed, right? Next month, Prabhupada left this world. 44 years, right? Long time. For the new generation, young people, he's a historical figure. For us, my association with Prabhupada was very little. I was a young boy, right? I was 17, 18, I came to India. Prabhupada passed away. I was 21, completed 22 running, right? No, 22 completed, 23 running in 1977. I was 22 years old. And what is 22-year-old? He just finished college here, right? And older people will say, "Bacha, he's a bacha." So I was a bacha, I admit that. Manna padega na, ki main bacha tha, Prabhupada ji ke kaal mein. So I wasn't one of the big leaders of ISKCON. But what, you know, there's, Prabhupada made a group of leaders, and after he passed away, the movement expanded like anything, right? Even here, this temple didn't exist in those days. Whatever temples existed were buildings that were purchased. Even now, you have a couple exceptions like Houston, where they built their own, you know, building. Otherwise, it's all old buildings. Even they started in an old building, right? Because it was at the time of Prabhupada. So the Vedic cult, we were on the train platform. I told that at the program, right? I told this on Friday night. We were with Prabhupada in Nellore. Actually, I went a day early because 1st and 2nd January 1976, Prabhupada came to Madras, Chennai. Today is Chennai. 2 days lectures. And I was sent ahead to check up on the arrangements at Nellore. Prabhupada came by train, 3 hours train journey from Chennai to Nellore, 160 kilometers north of Chennai, Nellore. How many people have heard of Nellore? Oh, it's a good group. Yeah, about 45%. Because North India people won't know what is Nellore, right? Only South Indians may know. So 2,000 people were there to greet Prabhupada on the train platform, outside the station, not on the platform. The mayor, the Nadaswarams with the, what is it, Tavil, the big drums, Shehnai in North India, but long one. Brahmins chanting Veda mantras, girls, kanyas with the coconuts, that's in many places in India. It's a Vedic culture. And Prabhupada told us, small group of disciples, what, 20, 25, very small group, Vedic culture is more intact in South India. So, I mean, the point is Vedic culture. He was propagating Vedic culture. And if a God brother says we're not following Vedic culture, then what did he learn from Prabhupada? So, you know, Prabhupada had many God brothers. There's a purport in Srimad Bhagavatam. You know, I unfortunately don't know. It's in the 4th canto. He says that my God brothers and I may not be working conjointly. And now ISKCON, we're working conjointly. But in those days, the Gaudiya Math had broken, and different sannyasis and different God brothers, he said that we are all preaching and making many thousands of disciples. He wrote like that in the purport. So Prabhupada recognized his God brothers. Not that I'm the only one preaching. His godbrothers were also doing prachar. And he wrote, nobody can stop this Krishna consciousness movement. It's spreading in the Western countries. Thousands of people are becoming devotees. Funny, but you know, everyone is in Indian here, except me. What happened to all those Westerners? Where did they go? And I've been in India, you know, last 1 year I'm here, but otherwise 46 years serving in ISKCON in India. Out of 49, -2, the first year and this last year. Almost 47 years. And to say that we're not Vedic, then you really didn't read what Prabhupada wrote in his books. You didn't see the example he set by spending his money in India, stressing the importance. He told the GBC, every year meet in Mayapur. Why didn't he tell them to meet in New York City or Los Angeles or London or Sydney, Australia? He could have said, every year you have in a different place. No, come to Mayapur. Why is that? And Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Mayapur Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri ki jai, Dwarka Dham ki jai, Ayodhya. They're all in India. They're not here. So what happened? There's another verse in Gita. Daivi hiesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. My Maya Shakti, the power of illusion is very difficult. Duratyaya. Dur means difficult. It also means bad. Because yesterday was the birthday of someone everyone in India calls Mahatma, but you know, I was with Prabhupada there in Gandhi's ashram in Wardha. And I said to Prabhupada on the morning walk, I said, Srila Prabhupada, Mahatma Gandhi. And he stopped me. He said, don't criticize Gandhi here. I didn't criticize. But he said, don't criticize Gandhi here. This is his place. They won't understand. He told me that. Which means he had a lot of criticism, but he didn't want to criticize in Gandhi's place. You know, obviously, I was a bacha. I was a child. But Gandhi wrote, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, that if Rama and Krishna actually existed, I will cease to call myself a Hindu. You know this? How many of you heard this before? 1, 2, 3. Wow, nobody heard this. Because you're not reading Gandhi. He wrote a lot. He wrote a lot of books. Right? In Ahmedabad, there's the Navjivan Prakashan publishing house. All the Gandhi's books were published. How many heard the name of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Everybody. How many know that he went to Gandhi ashram in 1959 in Ahmedabad? How many know? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all. Go on YouTube and hear the speech of Dr. Martin Luther King. I have a dream. 1963. How many years ago is that? 58 years ago, right? Almost 60 years ago, Martin, if you look at that video, you'll see a number of those supporters wearing the Gandhi caps. Yeah. Martin Luther King was a social activist who was influenced by Gandhiji. Now you know, in case you didn't know, he was a Ahimsavadi. And Ahimsavad is not for Kshatriyas. Whole Gita, Tasmad Tvam Yasho Labhasva, Jitva Shatrun, conquer your enemies, right? Get up and get up and fight. Yudhyasva Madanusmaran. drink, unfortunately. Not supposed to. No, no, this is a little easier. Yudhyasva, you fight. Mad anusmaran, thinking of me. Right? We say every moment you should think of Vishnu. What is it? I'm forgetting the verse. No. That also, but no. Smartavyam satatam Vishnu. Always remember Vishnu. Avismartavya jatu na jatu chit. Never forget Vishnu. Smartavyam satatam. Smartavyam kartavyam bhoktavyam drashtavyam shrotavyam kirtitavyam. This is how you can learn Sanskrit Bhasha, right? Smartavyam, you must remember. Bhoktavyam, you must eat. Drashtavyam, you must see. Shrotavyam, you must hear, right? So smartavyam satatam. Satatam, always. Vishnu, you should always remember Vishnu. Never forget him. Right? Why? Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Gita says, a last moment. We don't know when is that last moment. Right? Today we were talking about, some of our devotees' parents who are 97, 99, and they're still going. And some of our godbrothers left their bodies, Bhakti Charu Maharaj left his body, Jasamati Nandan Prabhu, our Gujarat chief. So who can say when the Antakale, when this body, right, Panchatvam Gataha, right, the body merges into the Pancha Mahabhutas, Prithvi, Jal, Akash, Agni, Vayu, right? The Atma goes somewhere. Where does it go? Gita says, Urdvam gachanti sattvasta. Those who are sattvic go up. Madhye tishtanti rajasaha. And those who are in the mode of passion, in the middle, they stay here. Adho gachanti tamasaha. Those who are tamasic, they go down. So this country is all tamogunis and rajogunis. Not all, because you're not. But there are so many restaurants and so many bars. And you go in any supermarket, the bottles of wine are stacked high, right? Everywhere you see. And Hindus are selling it also. Hindus are selling. In India also, not just here. I don't want to say too much about that. But it is tamasic, right? See, I asked Prabhupada in Vrindavan, is it better to worship the one God of the Western religions, or is it better to worship the devatas, the demigod? This was in morning walk in September 1975. I have a Ricola. I hope that'll help my throat. Excuse me. So, Prabhupada told me, Brahmananda was there, but he's passed away now. I can't remember who else. This in one of those conversations books. So he said it's better to worship the demigods because by following the Vedic system, oops, Vedic again. He told me by following the Vedic system, you get gradual elevation. And then he said, these religions are the religions of the meat eaters. So what does that mean? Because in India, a lot of people eat meat. In fact, in Bengal and Orissa, everyone eats fish. Only 1% are vegetarians. There's a chart you can see. Vegetarians in India, Rajasthan is number 1, Gujarat is number 2. And Delhi, Punjab, and you go on Eastern India, 1%, 2% are vegetarian. We're Bengali Vaishnavas. Prabhupada was Bengali. No onion, no garlic. He was very critical because there's another famous religious institution in Bengal where the sannyasis, they eat non-vegetarian food. And so they're called the Murgi mission. Murgi is a chicken. You know, one of Prabhupada's godbrothers told me he was sitting with Prabhupada and some Bengali gentlemen were talking with him. And then Prabhupada asked them, what is your spiritual life? And they said, well, sometimes we tell stories about that so-called incarnation of God. I'm not mentioning the name. And Prabhupada pointed to some foreign devotees sitting there and he said, you see these people? They will not go in that mission to pass urine. He said like that. So then the godbrother asked Prabhupada, don't you think that was a little too strong? And he said, well, sometimes they need that medicine. How can a sannyasi eat non-vegetarian food? It's tamasic. But it was allowed. But what happened here is not non-vegetarian, it's cow's meat. Go mamsa. That is never allowed. Prabhupada has written, low-class people can eat meat, but of unimportant animals like chickens, goats, pigs, and like that, but not cows. Cows should never be killed. Why he taught like that? Because cow is the mother, Gomata, right? One day Gomataram, there was a whole movement, but didn't get so popular. But anyway, cows, Prabhupada stressed. And Krishna says in Gita, Krishi go raksha, vanijam vaishya karma svabhavajam. Go raksha is taught by Lord Krishna himself. Namo Brahmanya Devaya. Go Brahmana Hitaya. So this is Vedic culture. To protect cows, to protect Brahmanas. Rajas were protecting Brahmanas. Dashamaskanda, the story of Nriga, right? King Nriga. If you read the Krishna book, the Dashamaskanda, King Nriga was giving cows to Brahmanas. Then 2 Brahmanas had a dispute on one cow. They came to the king. This is my cow. No, this is my cow. Look, the Raja, give me this one cow and I'll give each of you 100,000 cows. No, no. And so because of this, he had to be born as a lizard. What is a lizard? There's different words. Hindi. Kya bolte hain Hindi mein? Chipkali. Then Lord Krishna, his sons in Dwarka, they saw this lizard in the well. And Krishna extended his hand and took the lizard out and he became a devata and told this story. This is the story. It's a wonderful story. But cows were protected by Dilip is also in Bhagavat. Srimad Bhagavatam, Dilip slept in the Goshala to protect the cows from the tigers and the lions. And a tiger came or a lion came and he killed that animal with his bare hands without a weapon to protect the cows. So Go Raksha is Sanatan Dharma, Vedic Sanatan Dharma. We say Vedic, why? Because all of this is in Vedas, Vedic Shastras. So Gita says, Yaha Shastra Vidhim Utsrijya Vartate Kamakarataha Nasasiddhim Avapnoti Nasukam Naparagatim. Those who do not follow Shastra Pramanas, they cannot get moksha, they cannot attain the ultimate goal of life, and they cannot be happy. Nasukam Naparagatim. we're not Vedic. Astounding that a God brother can say we're not Vedic. Astounding. Because we're distributing these Gitas. And that's what Gita says. Shastra Vidhi. What Shastras? Vedic Shastras. We have to follow Vedic Shastras. So, if you say that you're a follower of Vedic Shastras, you're a Hindu. You're born in India, but you might not be a Hindu. You might be a Muslim or a Christian. Prabhupada said 200 times Jesus is our guru. 200 times, not even 100 times. Because he was surrounded by Christians. Did he give lectures on the Bible? Did he print Bibles and tell everybody to read the Bible? No, he didn't. He told everybody, he propagated Gita. He propagated Bhagavatam. Nigama kalpa taruhu galitam phalam. Nigama means Vedas. Vedic. It's intolerable. It's intolerable for a disciple of Prabhupada to say we're not Vedic. It exposes that person as a total ignorant person who doesn't even know the first verses of the Bhagavad. Nigama kalpa taruhu galitam phalam. This is the ripened fruit of the Vedas. Bhagavad. We're happy, 1,000 sets. Bhadra Purnima, distribute the Bhagavad. But what's in the Bhagavad, you say we're not Vedic. Nonsense. Excuse me. Doesn't make one bit of logical sense to say wearing a dhoti and putting a tilak and take initiation from Prabhupada and a kanti mala and say we're not Vedic. What rubbish is that? Sorry, it makes me angry. Because I lived in India. मैंने हिंदुस्तान में 45 साल से ज्यादा रह रहा हूं और ये सुनकर उन्मत्त हो जाते हैं. कैसे बोल सकते हैं कि हम वैदिक नहीं है? कैसे बोल सकते हैं? ये क्या शिष्य है? प्रभुपाद 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 और हम वैदिक नहीं है बोलते हैं. बहुत अजीब है. विचित्र. समझने से बाहर. I cannot understand how they can say like that. I cannot understand. What's the time frame? No, I don't know your time frame. I'm a guest here. I mean, I came here 4 years ago, and that was the only time I came. And bhagya ki baat hai, I didn't get such a chance. So many nice people. I mean, so many interested. What time is it now? So, question time, do you have like that? Anybody want to? Yeah, I have a hand up there in the back. That's a very good question. We're not Vedic, we're not Hindu. Krishna consciousness, he said. It's stupidity, you know. To say that Krishna consciousness is different from Vedic is a type of stupidity. I mean, it's disingenuous. You know this word, disingenuous. It is unintelligent. But what he's saying is that Krishna consciousness is not Vedic. But Gita says, you know, Shastras are the basis, isn't it? I was telling a couple devotees 2 hours ago in Madhupati Prabhu's house that Prabhupada wrote in the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 3:2440. 3:2440. that there is no sanction in Vedic literature for a woman to take sannyas. No sanction in Vedic literature. And then in the same purport, he said that Kardama Muni followed the Vedic system, right? We read it together. 3-4 of us were sitting there. So Prabhupada, in many, many places, this is one place that I remember, but there are many places he wrote, we're following. And like I said, he told me, it's better to worship the Devatas than the one God of the Western religions because it's the Vedic system. So then how he's saying it's not the Vedic system is, you know, mind-boggling. What do you say? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. That's all I can say. You know, there's a letter from Prabhupada. It's available online. Scan of the letter from May 1972. There's a devotee, he's 80 years old, Guru Das. How many people heard the name of Guru Das? Okay, 10%, 15%. So he wrote a letter to Guru Das. He was in Madras. There are many poor children in Madras. If you want to feed them, that's okay. But they must hear our philosophy. It must go in their ears. Simply food or simply foodstuffs is nonsense. I didn't write the letter. Prabhupada wrote like that. So Prabhupada had a standard. What was nonsense? What was nonsense? What are some of the paryaya padani? What do you say? Synonyms. Nonsense, foolishness, ridiculous. What, any other words am I missing? Somebody here must be in English. Rascal, idiocy. I mean, you know, Prabhupada wrote like this, wrote in the letter. Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Sudarshan Chakra ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki. Hare Krishna. So, you know, there are many concocted religions. So that's another purport. Same purport. 3:2440, Prabhupada wrote, so-called spiritual societies concocted in modern times give sannyas to women, even though there is no sanction in Vedic literature. So you cannot be a follower of Prabhupada and say that there's a Swamini or Sannyasini, right? That was his ideology, and we're his disciples. We're supposed to follow that. And the basis of his statement is not, I am saying, not like that. Vedic literature does not sanction sannyas for women. So he's a follower of Vedic literature. So for a disciple of Prabhupada to say we're not Vedic is an oxymoron. You understand? It's a contradiction in terms. You are not a disciple of Prabhupada if you say we're not Vedic. You're a disciple of your mind. That's what you are. Yeah, another question. Sure. No one else is raising their hand. Why not you? Yeah, West Bengal government. Again, Mamata Banerjee, thank you. She's the best friend of ISKCON in the history of ISKCON in the, you know, Indian political scene. I have to tell you the truth, even though Prime Minister Modi likes ISKCON, he came to the Delhi temple, he's praised Prabhupada, he released a coin recently of Prabhupada's 125th birthday, but Mamata Banerjee did more for ISKCON. That's a, you know, we're not saying, we're not denigrating Modi. We love Modi. You know, I voted for Modi. Yeah, I vote in India. We go to the polling, we vote. But Mamta gave that land, but we had to pay for the tenants to leave. So where Prabhupada was born in Calcutta, ISKCON now has that property recently, just a couple months ago. And thanks to Mamta Banerjee. Mamta. Yeah, there's another question over here. Well, see, that my point is she's done something practical to help ISKCON. So we appreciate that. Her politics, what can we do, you know? Her politics are not in our hand. But that she's helping ISKCON, we appreciate very much. Any other? Yeah. Why don't you remove, yeah, you don't mind. I hope you won't get sick, yeah. Prabhupada was asked this question and he said in reply, I was not there. So, you know, hopefully he said, hey Ram, you know, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says the Muslims can get moksha if they say haram, haram. So why not Gandhi? But, you know, who knows? His outlook was a bit atheistic. His social plan, Gramodyog, we agree 100%. We are with Gandhi ji for, you know, village industry, village life. Prabhupada propagated that actually. New Vrindavan. There's a movie, Spiritual Frontier. I don't know if you saw that. It was made by Yadubara Prabhu in 1975, 76. I showed that to Prabhupada. He had already seen it before, I heard later. But, you know, he approved of that movie. And the movie, you know, the head of New Vrindavan at the time, I won't mention his name, he said, Prabhupada taught us to depend on nature's beauty and the cows. Go Raksha. And Gandhi's economic program was Gramodyog, village industry. And that's what Prabhupada propagated. So economic policy, we agree with Gandhi, but religious ideology, we have a big difference. And he was, you know, he wasn't a follower of one of the 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas. Let's put it like that. Sure, but speak louder. I can't hear you.
He generally read the Gita every day, right? But do you think that he followed the Gita?
Well, see, he was an impersonalist. You understand? Like Adi Shankaracharya was an impersonalist, but we believe he was an avatar of Shiva who wanted to bring Vedas back. Buddhism had, Buddhism had taken over India. And so to drive out Buddhism, Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya appeared. But his philosophy we don't accept. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, right, Mayavadi Bhashya Shunile Hoya Sarvanash, which means if you accept impersonalism, you have been ideologically ruined, you know, spiritually ruined. So we don't accept the impersonalist outlook that there isn't a Ishvara. Vedas, right? Vedas say Ishavasyamidam Sarvam. This is in the Shukla Yajurveda, Ishopanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad. Ishavasyamidam Sarvam, Ishvara. And Gita also, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati. Ishvara is in everyone's heart. But there are people who say Ishvara is impersonal. And we say, no, Ishvara is Vishnu. Vyapnoti iti Vishnuhu. Vishnu is all pervading. And Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta is Krishna is the original form, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachit Ananda Vigraha. You heard this, right? Anadir Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Even this Swaminarayan sect in the Shiksha Patri, Gujaratis heard this. Non-Gujaratis may not know, but it's written there in 108. Saha Shri Krishna Param Brahma Bhagavan Purushottama Sarva Avirbhava Karanam. He's the source of all the original, their guru, who they made God, but which is wrong, wrote that Krishna is the source of all forms of Vishnu. So in that sense, they agree with us. Excuse me. Bad throat. Any other question? I don't know how long I should.
Hare Krishna.
Bosses are here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for sharing your heart. It was very inspiring to hear you talking frankly. In India, as you go through the journey in the last close to 50 years, how do you see the challenges ISKCON is facing in terms of all the advancement of the Baba and all those other religious faiths?
Tell you the frank truth, you need a Rama, you need a Raja. That's the Vedic system. Kshatriyas. The duty of the Kshatriyas to protect, evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayaha. Rajas who studied Vedas, Veda Dhyanam, they are rishis. What does it mean, this word, Rajarshi? Gita. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. So we don't have that now. We don't have rajas. Yad yad acharati shreshtaha. Tad tad evetaro janaha. Gita says that whatever the great men do, common men follow. What can I say? You need Adarsh Nayakas. Dharma Raja, Yudhishthir. But we don't see them now. It's Kali Yuga. So, we're trying to do Dharma Prachar. And it's not easy. To be ideal is not easy. To be ideal, to set the example. Like I'm not ideal in one sense, because I'm still a Grihastha. I'm not a Vanaprastha, right? You're supposed to become a Vanaprastha at 50. Who becomes a Vanaprastha? Very few. There's a gap between the ideal and the reality. Prabhupada knew that. He made young Westerners sannyasis. They were unfit. They didn't know Vedas, right? Adi Shankara, if you read his life story, he took sannyas before studying Vedas, but he went on bank of Narmada to Govindapad and studied Vedas. He only lived for 32 years. He wrote so many, it's amazing. And it says in, Mayavada Asat Shastram, he came to propagate Mayavad to attract people to Vedas from Buddhism and drive out the Buddhists. Because Buddha, what is that Dashavatar Stotra of Jayadev? Nindasi yagna videhe. Buddha condemned the system of yagna in the Vedas. Nindasi yagna vidher ahaha shruti jatam. Snapayasi payasi darshita pashugatam. To stop the slaughter of animals in the name of Vedas, he propagated ahimsavad. And he condemned the Vedas. But so he's called one of the avatars. How can an avatar condemn the Vedas? But in order to stop animal slaughter. Then Adi Shankara came, re-established the Vedas. And then Vaishnavacharyas to establish the proper Siddhanta of Vedas. This is just an overview. But dharmasya moolam Veda. The root of dharma, Sanatan dharma, is Vedas. Brahmins in India, they may be smarta Brahmins, they may be Vaishnava Brahmins, but they study Vedas. Vaishnava Brahmins also study Vedas, but not all the Brahmins are Vaishnavas. There are many smarta Brahmins because of the influence of Adi Shankara. So Vaishnavacharyas, they condemned Advaita Vedanta, but they're not our enemies. They follow the same culture. In the opening of the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, there's a picture. I'm standing behind Prabhupada, and he's sitting next to Akhandananda Saraswati, a big Mayavadi, Adi Shankara follower. He invited him. He sent Jaswamati Nandan Prabhu to invite these Mayavadis because socially we're one. We've one culture. We don't say go and shoot the Mayavadis. You're not like that. But ideology, we disagree. But there's a friendly relationship. Even if they wear this tilak and bow down to Shiva. We also bow down to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went to Kashi and bowed down to Vishwanath. So not like that, Shiva is Vishnu, another Swarupa, right? Kshiram yatha dadi vikara vishesha yogat. We quote this, Brahma Samhita. Sanjayate nahi tataf pratigasti heto. Yashambhutam api tatha. Samupaiti karyat govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So he's a form of Vishnu, but separated form. In Yoga Peeth in Mayapur, birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there's a Shiva Linga's temple right there. The Gaudiya Math, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur approved of that. So we also can't oppose that. That's also there. That is also there. Right? Vrindavan Maj. Right? Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavan Maj. The Kshetrapal of Vrindavan is Gopishwar Mahadev. Gopishwar, not Gopeshwar. Gopeshwar is Krishna, Gopishwar is Shiva. So, yeah, ISKCON challenge is now to convert everybody to Vaishnav, but it's not easy. And in the history of the human society, the kings converted the people. People followed the kings. Yad yad acharati shreshta. So the rulers of the world should become Vaishnavas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that the high court judge should wear a tilak, right? That's the basic idea. So slowly, it may take generations. There was a lot of progress that was made in inspiration by Prabhupada and his disciples. Inspired a lot of people also, right? When Prabhupada went to Moscow for 1 week in 1971, nobody thought that there would be 80 centers in Russia and 25 centers in Ukraine. So the government is opposed in Russia, not in Ukraine, but in Russia. But still going on, from meeting one person, giving him initiation to 80 centers, it's a big improvement. So, yeah, it's a checkered history. Like, where are the Westerners here? So some God brothers are objecting, it's only Indians. No, the door is open. Why aren't they coming? We have to ask ourselves, Because ISKCON is a prachar sanstha, we have to preach to them also. Actually, they're all ignorant. They need to be enlightened, and they're in the tamogun. So it's hard. It's not easy. They're all, beer drinking, meat eating, etc., etc. Prabhupada commented on that also. He talked to a student in California and said that if you do tamasic activities, you'll be born in your next life as a hog. And that student said, well, what's wrong with that? And Prabhupada said, well, you live in the mud and you eat, feast, you eat, what is it, stool? Oh, no, the hogs are happy. I have no problem being a hog. So Prabhupada said, okay, I bless you to be a hog in your next life. Then he told us that they're so hard-hearted, he said. So what is that hard-heartedness? It's tamogun, tamasic. So to dispel that, to tell them, I told my sister, why are you eating this non-veg food? No, what's wrong with that? Well, she had a dog. I said, would you kill the dog and eat the, no. They won't kill the dog and eat the dog for dinner. Then meat is the same thing. They are killing the animal. No, it's part of the food chain. Part of the food chain. Very difficult to convince these people. Very difficult. But Prabhupada was able, he proved that it's possible, right? At the time of Prabhupada, and some have joined later. But, wow. So there are many challenges. In India also, there's a lot of people are becoming Christians through, what is it? Praloban. What is that in English? Bribery. Something is given to them, join us. No Raja to stop it. No Raja. Hare Krishna. I went over the time. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can end it. You want to say something?
So we'd like to thank His Grace Basho Ghosh Prabhu with a loud Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Thank you very much for coming to this Sunday Feast program. Is anybody coming here for the first time? Oh, everybody's here. Okay. Okay, so today's Sunday Feast is sponsored by 4 families.
One is Sushil Prabhu for his mother's anniversary, late Urmila Sharma. So give all the blessings to Urmila Sharma and Sushil Prabhu. Is here, Sushil Prabhu? Maybe you might have gone to the other side. Next is Jagadish Yama Prabhu is sponsoring for his daughter's Anika's birthday.